Now, a question for you. Oh, look, Matt and Rebecca looking keen and eager and sitting upright. Listen very carefully to this piece of music. I want to know, what does this mean to you? What are the messages that this sumptuous piece of orchestral music sends to you? Matt, what does this say to you?
I'm thinking of sort of zany kiddie film.
Zany kids film. What about you, Rebecca?
I'm thinking more ballet and women in pink tutus leaping around.
Right, okay. How was your trip to the V&A, by the way?
It was brilliant, by the way, thank you.
Big hit?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this piece of music, it might surprise you to learn, it's actually not to do with a movie. Well, it kind of is something to do with a movie, but it's far more to do with a computer game. Because it's music from the score of Alice in Wonderland, the video game. It comes out in March. It was composed by Richard Jacques. Who's that bloke sitting next to you? You wondered who he was. Just some old guy just wandered in and sat down. Hello, Richard, how are you?
Hi, good, how you doing?
Tell us about this piece of music that we're listening to.
Well, it's the opening to the Alice in Wonderland video game from Disney, which I've been working on for the last 4 or 5 months. It ties in with the film, which is coming out in March.
And one of the reasons that we invited you in is because the Ivor Novello Music Awards have decided to create a new category just for video game scores. I imagine you're thinking, thank you very much, top idea.
Well, actually, I was helping out with the category, so I'm actually going to be judging it this year. But it's been great working with Basker and PRS from Music, who present the awards, because they actually recognise that it's such a huge industry now. There's some great talent being utilised within the industry in this country alone. So it's great that they've recognised that and given this its own category.
But presumably a degree of musical snobbery out there for people who think it's a computer game, that's not real music, it's just plinkety-plink stuff.
I think that used to be the case. It is changing somewhat now. You know, there's so many orchestral and choral soundtracks being done in video games now that they've really come of age, and those days of blips and bloops were a long time ago.
So with regard to this piece of music that we're listening to in this Alice film, what would you have been given to work with in terms of coming up with this score?
Well, I was actually given lots of designs on paper, looking at some of the concept artwork, and then I visited the developer in France, and basically was looking at the visuals and playing the game whilst creating the score. So
what is this piece here? What does this mean? What's happening here?
This is actually right at the opening where we see Alice disappearing down the hole.
Is that Anne Hathaway in the movie?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think it is. It's Anne Hathaway and Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in the movie.
Definitely.
Much relationship between the movie and the game?
Yeah, they're quite closely linked. Obviously, I can't give away any secrets, but they're quite closely linked, and we've been working with some of the character actors as well.
So what are your credentials?
Yes, well, I studied music from quite an early age, and I've been composing video games for the last 16 years, which is something, I was drawn to it because of the challenges it presents to a composer. I've worked in film and TV as well, but games present certain challenges which are really, really interesting.
What do we have to do in the game then? I mean, we've obviously got your music, which is playing. Presumably, we guide. Are we Alice? And we have to guide.
That I can't possibly comment on that, but yeah,
okay,
there's puzzles.
I'm just going to speculate then. See how I do. My guess is that when we play the game, we're Alice. And that we have to guide her through various journeys and through assorted mysteries, and things happen.
Things do happen. Yeah, that's all I can say.
How am I doing, Rebecca? Is this something?
I think you're right in saying that things
happen. And
things happen.
Does the Cheshire Cat pop up?
He might make an appearance.
What about the Mad Hatter? Is Mad Hatter in there?
Well, maybe.
Oh, you're tough, aren't you? On safer ground, the technology must have changed enormously. I mean, this just sounds like a full orchestral. People just think this is from the movie, but the technology must have changed enormously for you.
Absolutely. I mean, in the last 10 years alone, the technology has evolved so much in games where we can utilise fully orchestral scores and choir, etc. But I think the main point about it is that we now can create scores that react dynamically and reactively to the player's movements and choices, which is something we couldn't really do in the past, but that's what all the composers are concentrating on now.
Rebecca is looking so puzzled. It's as though she doesn't understand a word you're saying.
No, not at all. I just thought if you're going to react to what the players are doing in the computer game, obviously you don't know what each individual is going to do. So how do you do that? My mind is boggling at the thought.
Well, it's not like a traditional way of composing. You have to think about it on so many levels, and instead of looking at a linear piece of music like you would TV or film, you have to think three-dimensionally as well. So we have to think, if we want to go from a fast cue to a slow cue, we can have a bridging section, transition. Or we might have 8 streams of music playing at the same time, which we can fade between the two, and one might be more action, one might be more calm, things like that. We have to preempt what the player is going to do, because in effect they are the director, producer, writer.
This feels like a bit of calm here. Either that or it's music to be massaged by.
This is one of the calmer segments here,
when what? What's happening?
You're pressing me now.
Calm down, just wait.
So apart from yourself, who are the big stars in this world? Who are the equivalent of John Williams?
Well, there's lots of big video game composers. I mean, obviously in Japan you have people like Nobuo Uematsu, who worked on the Final Fantasy series, and in the States you've got people like Marty O'Donnell, who works on the Halo franchise, which is another big franchise.
And of course, the mainstream bands, big rock and roll bands, they want to be a part of this as well, and they actually release records. Songs become available for the first time on this kind of game.
Yes, absolutely. There's a story about Green Day having a single on an Electronic Arts video game. I think it was a sports game in the States, and that was the first time they actually released that piece of music before it came out on single or album. And apparently at one of their concerts, all the audience was singing it, and they knew all the lyrics and everything because it'd been exposed to them in this video game, and it hadn't been on sale in the shops or on download. So it just shows that people are, getting exposed to this, and the bands are taking it seriously.
So when this bit happens, what do we see?
You might see a White Rabbit.
I think that's probably all we're going to get. Yeah. It would be disappointing if we didn't. Richard Jake's really, really good. Appreciate you coming in, and wish you all the best for Alice in Wonderland, and all the best in the future, because clearly this is going to be your... you're not going to be making film scores, you're not going to be making hit records, you're just going to be working on video games.
Absolutely.
Richard, appreciate that. Thanks very much indeed for coming in.